welcome back to another episode of
The Fuzzy Pod.
Oh my god, why did that feel so weird? I feel like I never do that intro part.
Yeah, really? I think what threw it is I said hi this time.
Yeah, you threw it off. But welcome back. Today is gonna be a very special episode. I'm just jumping right into it.
It's my birthday.
It's her birthday.
It's my birthday pod.
I don't know.
We just made that up.
If you couldn't tell. I know we're very professional. But yes, today we are talking about Megan's birthday. And what? It's a big one.
It's a big one.
It's the big one.
It's the big one.
It's the big 1-0.
It's the big 3-0.
The big 3-0. Megan is turning 30.
By the time this pod comes out, I will officially
She will be 30.
be in a new decade. Blah.
I think it's
Actually,
cute. I'm excited for you.
No, actually, there are so many people just like thriving in their 30s. I guess we'll get into all my feelings around it. But it makes me like less
Nervous.
less nervous to like enter into this new time of my life.
Yeah. But on today's episode, we're just gonna be chatting about how Megan is feeling about turning 30. I've written down some questions, some deep questions, some funny questions.
Oh, I looked over them just briefly and I was like, some of these like got me thinking already. I'm like, oh shoot, I need to simmer with that for a second. So I'm glad you sent them to me before.
I was like, some of them were layered.
We would just be sitting here and I'd be like,
But before we get into that, before we get into what I'm calling the 13 questions going into 30, I thought about that for a little
title.
bit. We're going to talk about your birthday plans because I feel like it's so exciting. I feel like we were talking about, oh, should we do something for your 30th? And then it all just started like coming together. I think whenever like we knew when I was going to be moving and like all that was going to be mostly behind me.
That you'd be here
that
and
I'd be here and be more settled, that we could like plan something. And yeah, so do you want to talk about like some of your birthday plans and what we got going on?
So basically the birthday plan is we're doing all the plans. What I mean is we came up with like multiple
it's a full
themes.
Weekend itinerary.
Because when it comes to your 30th birthday, there are so many good themes out there. Okay.
So true.
The obvious, 30, flirty, and thriving.
Yeah, 13 going on 30.
Very
We
popular
all know the movie.
Yeah.
We all know the dress.
We all know the dress. Oh, and did I get the dress? Well, TBD. Wait.
We will see.
We will see. I was trying to leave them hanging.
Sorry.
Wait for the photos.
I've never seen you purchase any dress ever for an event.
So you got 13 going on 30, 30, flirty, thriving. You have a newer trend that I think is hilarious, which is RIP to my youth, RIP to my 20s.
We love it.
You throw like a funeral for your youth and all your friends wear all black. The doble quinceañera is another theme, dirty 30, classic. So we decided, what if we did a whole weekend?
Let's do it all.
Where we did a new theme each day. And so that's what we're going to be doing. Kicking things off with the RIP to my 20s.
Got to kick it off with a funeral.
But we're going to do like a combination of RIP to my 20s meets my doble quinceañera. So we're going to bring some of the quinceañera traditions into my birthday.
Neither one of us had a quinceañera, so I'm very excited.
Well, so we had like the option. Our parents are basically like, okay, you can't have a quinceañera and my super sweet 16. And that was like all the rage back then. So of course, when they gave us the option, like, which one do you want? We were like, sweet 16.
Yeah, honestly, biggest regret.
Like, obviously, like Hillary Duff had a sweet 16.
So I have to.
I have to have a sweet 16. So, you know what, though? It's really cool to be able to like be entering into my 30s and now get to like bring some of those traditions in a new way for the doble quinceañera. And I think it's cool that people are doing them too that like maybe didn't have the opportunity to have one because they can be expensive.
Oh my gosh, yeah, it's a full event. Yeah.
Yes. So
it's the same as like a
wedding. Some people spend the same amount on a quinceañera as they do as a wedding.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a huge
deal.
event.
Yeah.
We're not quite doing like that. It's just going to be more like a nod to that, with my dress, and I'm going to have a
some
scepter,
of the traditions.
do some of the traditions with like a new twist, and Anyways,
shoes.
we'll fill you in on the next episode how the birthday
We'll do a
festivities
recap.
went.
We'll do a recap.
I'm so excited. I think because I decided to like really do up the celebrations and I'm going to have like all my people around me, it'll make like entering into this like new phase of life. That sounds so dramatic, by the way.
It does, which this is kind of like, this is a bonus question. But do you think, like, usually when you have a birthday, you don't feel much different.
No.
Do you think that you're going to feel that way going into your 30s? Or do you feel like it's going to just be like, well, that was another birthday?
I don't know. I think there is some weight in it. And I guess we'll talk a little more about that, like why I specifically feel like this weight going into my 30s. That's a weird way to word that.
Yeah. No, it's not weird.
Like, no, I mean, like, I feel this way. I don't have the metabolism that I once did in my 20s. I can't eat the Taco Bell every night. It don't hit me the same. But like, no, like this, like the significance around like turning 30. There's some like societal pressures as well, like entering into your 30s that I'm feeling. But what was the question?
Like, do you think you'll feel different? This is just a bonus question
I feel
too.
Different? I TBD, but I think so.
Yeah.
It's different, especially like, I mean, between like 26, 27, 28, who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? I mean, half the time I didn't know my age in that time period. They'd be like, how old are you? And I'm like, 27. Wait, no, 28.
Yeah.
It's like, who knows? Who cares? You're just like in your like mid to late 20s. But now it's like, I think I honestly started prepping myself the second I turned 29.
Yeah.
Because it's like this pressure's like on.
It's like, oh my gosh, this is my last year of my 20s.
Gotta
like,
do it up.
Yeah. Like,
whatever that means.
Yeah, whatever that means.
And it's also weird too, which I guess I could talk a little bit now. Like, I feel like in my 20s, there was also so many different like layers to that as well. Like who I was in my early 20s compared to even my mid 20s.
Yeah.
Totally different.
Yeah.
Like,
I got some questions about that, girl. Don't you worry.
Okay. We'll get all into it. But overall, yeah, I do think I will feel like a kind of a more of a difference this birthday. I'll feel more emotional around it.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways.
Do you feel like you get the birthday blues usually?
No. I love my birthday. But this
I've always gotten emotional around my birthday. Like,
that's the thing.
Like every year I'm always like, one day closer to the grave. No,
please.
No, I actually think that like when I was a child.
Yeah.
Let's make it about me. But like like I remember when I was like turning 12, I was like, I'm not a child anymore.
Oh my gosh.
Like my childhood is quickly going away.
It's behind me. I'm a preteen now.
Like I won't be living with mom and dad forever and they're getting older.
Like that's a deep 12-year-old.
Like,
meanwhile,
I've
I was
been
like
that way.
Picking my nose, playing Webkins. I don't know if I was picking my nose, but I like the visual of like a little like grubby like 12-year-old like playing Webkins.
I mean, let's be honest, we were probably all picking our noses.
Sipping Capri Sun.
I still sip Capri Suns. They're still good. But yeah, that's good. I think it's good that you don't get birthday blues. I feel like it's nice to get excited.
But I wonder if I'll feel them for the first time this year. I don't know.
We'll see. I hope not.
We'll
I hope because we're doing like such big celebrations and like all your people are going to be
That's
here.
What I was going to say earlier.
Yeah.
I think I didn't finish that. Yeah.
Sorry, I cut you off.
No. We had so much. There's so much to say.
There's so much to say.
No, exactly.
There's always too much to say.
Because they're all here. It'll make it so much better.
Yeah, it's going to make it fun. Like, I feel like if you were, not that it's sad, but like if you were just like alone, like you and Cooper, went out to dinner or something, like it might feel like more like.
If I turned 30 in 2020. Okay, all my 90s babies, like, I think Bo Burnham captured that very well and inside.
Yeah, that's true. Like, but I think being able to be surrounded by like people who love you and like want to celebrate you, like, is so awesome.
Yeah.
So, yay. Shall we jump into the questions?
Let's do it.
Okay.
I think I'm ready.
Up. Okay, question number 1. What are 3 milestones from your 20s? Like 3 key things that stick out from your 20s?
Okay, 3 huge milestones. I'll start with one that is pretty simple but pretty significant, and that was getting married.
Yes.
I feel like that was something
simple. It was a simple affair.
A simple affair. Getting, just lifelong commitment. It's whatever. No, but like I think like marriage was definitely, a huge one, and to still be married. She's thriving.
She is thriving.
No, for real though. It's like,
Yeah.
it's crazy. Like I had like a lot of friends and stuff like get divorced and stuff like that. And that was like their journey. And it's like, it's actually crazy to be here like at 6 years of marriage we just hit this year. And I'm like,
Yeah.
we got married when we were babies.
Yeah.
Like I would probably still feel like a baby if we got married like this week, you know?
Yeah.
So the fact that we've been together for
Well,
like
you're still 29.
6 years. Yeah. Yeah. By the time this comes out though. So, I mean, marriage is definitely a huge one because it's like, no, I'm no longer making decisions just based around simply what I want to do, but now I have a partnership and it's like making decisions together.
Yeah.
And there's a lot to that.
Yeah.
That's really exciting and fun to be able to have someone to like share this journey with.
Yeah.
This life journey. And also to someone to like just build a home in a world that I'm really happy in and enjoy.
Yeah, I love that.
Another huge milestone, my career. I feel like I can't like overlook that and the impact that had on my life and the opportunities that it gave me. I had a career in music from like my teen years into like my early 20s, and she's still putting out music, okay?
Don't you forget it.
Don't you forget, okay? But I would say like, that was probably like the prime of it was kind of carried over into like my early 20s, probably up until like I got married and I kind of took a step back for a few years. And then COVID. And then now she's getting her life together. But honestly, I started a bunch of like other businesses as well too, which I like the Fuzzy Pod, and then Cooper and I, do streaming and things like that together. But all this to say, music was a huge part of my early 20s, and it brought me opportunities to travel.
Yeah.
Like all over the world. I was talking to Mom the other day about like we've hit like all the continents except for Antarctica. And I'm like, okay, we gotta check that one off, Mom.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you and me have been to like basically all of them except for that. So we got to go check. So travel and just, I think sometimes it's like, it feels like such a lifetime ago in some ways.
Yeah.
That like, I think that I forget how impactful that time really was. And the fact that I got to do something I love, which is music. And I got to create music daily. And that was like my sole focus in life, was to create and perform and share that with others. And the fact that I got to be a part of so many people's lives growing up.
Yeah.
Because I think at a certain point, like when I was like in my like mid-20s and people were like, oh my gosh, you were my childhood. I remember being like, ugh.
Yeah,
Stab me
like,
with a knife.
Now I'm a
so
dinosaur
old.
to you.
Yeah, just like put me in the ground already, okay?
Fine,
She's
bury
dusty.
me.
But then I was like, oh, actually that's so cool because I think about the people in my life that were that for me.
Yes, yeah.
And how important those people were in shaping my life and who I became. And the fact that I could be that for someone else.
Yeah.
Is like
it's almost
really
hard to
special.
Like imagine yourself being that for someone.
I still can't wrap my head around it sometimes. Like, or the fact that like all those people like that like listen to like we're all grown up and at different phases in our life. Like people like that, were supporting my music forever ago. And it's like now they have like kids and like they're married, and I'm like, what in the world?
We're all growing up.
We really are. And then another milestone. Sorry, that was like a really long answer to that.
No, that's great. I mean, honestly, it kind of answers one of the other questions, but we can dive more into it once we get there.
A third milestone. Can I just flex that I got to interview Michelle Obama?
Yeah, I think that should be a milestone, and that will be a milestone for the rest of your life, no matter the decade.
Should sometimes I'm like, I should print that photo of us and like.
Yeah, why don't you have that framed in your house? I'm confused. Why isn't it? You should have like, like the big print you have of your wedding photo. Yeah. Like you should have one of those of you and Michelle.
It's just bigger.
It's just bigger. Yeah, obviously. We all agree.
That's like a fever dream. But sometimes I'm like, I literally like was doing a panel at South by, and someone from Google saw me there and was like, oh my gosh, like we really liked you, and we're looking for someone still to like go down to Argentina and interview the first lady for this thing, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, oh my gosh. And then next thing I knew, I was like on a plane going there, interviewing Michelle Obama. And there were people coming in before that were like, wild. Don't ask her for a selfie. I know how you guys are. Don't ask for a selfie. And like, I was like, literally like, I won't ask her for a selfie or whatever. But then literally after the interview, she goes like, who wants pictures? Let's get some selfies together. And I was like, Gets out my
We
phone.
knew
and
Michelle wanted a selfie.
Meanwhile, I look at the person that said no selfies and like,
I can't say no.
I can't. I mean,
I
Michelle said it was okay.
I have to respect her.
And then probably the craziest part of that was after she was like, you should come visit sometime. And I was at my house. I was like, ha ha ha.
Wasn't she literally like, you should come have tea at my house? And you're like,
come to my house sometime. And I was like, ha ha ha, like the White House. And then someone gave me a card. And then I emailed that. And then they arranged a time for us to like go tour the White House.
it's true.
And so Maddie got to go with me.
That was pretty wild. I got to go. It was like some event they were having too. And we were like, we should not be here.
No, we were literally like crashing an event because it timed out with my tour. I was in Washington, D.C. at the time. And they were like, well, you can come here at this time. Or like, we're in town this, can we like stop by? And they're like, yeah, we're doing an appreciation for like librarians.
Yeah, it was like librarians or something. And we were like,
so people are like, what library do you work at?
Like, we do not belong here.
The crazy going on.
Lady Michelle invited us though.
Another small detail though about that visit that I just don't want to brush over is the fact that after we went through security, it was like no one was telling us where to go or what to do. So we were just kind of wandering, like following the food. And
we were just like, I just remember going through these hallways and I'm like, I don't know where we're supposed to go. Like there was no arrows, there was no signs.
No. And like obviously there's eyes everywhere.
Yeah.
But like at the same time we were like
also every room that we went in felt like you shouldn't touch anything or sit on anything. But like people were just sitting on this like this antique furniture that looked like
it looked like it would crumble if you like looked at it the wrong way.
It was like 200 years old. And I'm like, we should not be sitting on this.
Did I send you like President Biden's
Instagram
daughter?
story?
Yes. Got married and like took a selfie in a bathroom. And I was like, this bathroom looks familiar. And I sent it to Maddie and I was like, we have a selfie in the same bathroom.
The exact same bathroom.
Which they probably saw us taking.
Mm-hmm.
Just me.
It's true. They were watching us. There was eyes.
I think that was a milestone, kind of attached to the career because it came from that. The opportunity did.
Yeah.
But it's one of those whoa, like not every person that like had a YouTube career
got to do that.
Even got to have opportunities like that. So the fact that I was just at the right place at the right time, met somebody that like, thought I'd be a great fit for this and just gave me this opportunity is wild.
It's so cool. And the best part of it for me was I didn't have to do any work. I just had to be there.
Like, I just had to look cute. Also, not doing my hair that day. I had like a wet bun.
Did you really?
Like a messy bun.
That's classic. That's classic Megan.
Oh my gosh. I should have had my makeup and hair professionally done.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Number 2. What is a habit you created in your 20s that you want to continue doing?
Sorry, I'm just laughing because that was the longest answer to number 1. A habit that I created in my 20s.
We got 12 more questions to get through, Megan.
A habit I created in my 20s was actually finding a workout routine.
Ooh, I love that.
Mm-hmm. Did not take care of my body in any ways. I mean, I'm talking like didn't even do like walks or anything like that. And then I had a movement coach that I worked with that really just like kind of opened my eyes to the importance of like moving my body and keeping it healthy and strong and fueling it in the right ways and how that would just prepare me in so many different areas of my life.
Yeah.
Especially in performing at the time because they were just like, what are you doing? You can't be eating Taco Bell and just like not working on your cardio and then expect to like run around on stage and sing for like an hour and a half. Like you need to be able to like fuel yourself, take care of yourself and start these like habits and routines now.
Yeah.
And that conversation like truly woke me up.
Wow.
And I feel like I started to make those small changes then that I've like carried with me now.
Yeah.
And I'm not like over here like trying to be, I don't know, winning. Yeah, I'm not like a health and fitness. Like you won't catch me starting like a health and fitness Instagram account.
Hey, you never know. Never say never. You don't know what your 30s will bring.
That's true. But
the fuzzy pod workout?
Yeah.
We don't know.
Who knows? But I'm really thankful that I've started the, routine of taking care of myself in better ways so that I can just better be prepared in, later in my life.
Yeah. And I feel like it's also like taking care of yourself now so that in the future, like your body thanks you later.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Even just the other day, I I tripped on something, and I swear my ankle just went in a different direction, and then I didn't damage it, and I literally went back to like, oh my gosh, in Pilates when they said I was strengthening my ankles.
Yeah.
I was like, I think Pilates saved my ankle just
Do you
now.
have flexible ankles? Have you done like that test where I'm trying to remember. There's like a test you can do to test the flexibility of your ankles. Yeah. I have flexible ankles.
I was gonna say you would like sometimes you go down the weirdest rabbit holes. Like I mean that in the best way.
Oh, just me?
Yeah,
Not like the collective you?
No, you, Maddie.
I'm crying. It's true. She really called me out like that. She's getting brutal in her 30s. I'm just kidding.
She's honest.
Our honest queen. No, I do. That is factual though. I can confirm. Okay, number 3. If you could summarize.
If you could summer forever, which summer would you forever in?
Okay, number 3. It's kind of similar to the 3 milestones, but I want you to summarize your last decade in like 3 words.
Ooh, okay. I guess I'll start off with adventure.
Love it.
Because I had a lot of firsts that I experienced.
Mm-hmm.
Like I mentioned earlier, lots of travel.
Yeah.
Got to explore new places. Also opened up my palate to like all sorts of different cuisines because your girl was picky before she went
Chicken
into her
nuggets
20s.
with honey, mac and cheese. Did you eat like peanut butter and jelly? Uncrustables. You ate
Yeah.
Uncrustables.
I like literally ate like a
Pizza.
toddler up until 21,
Pizza.
probably 22. Oh yeah, all the pizza.
Mhm.
Like almost exclusively pizza and Taco Bell. I still weirdly ate sushi though. I like loved sushi.
That I will never understand. For someone
Yeah.
who was like so picky, for you to like sushi, like most people, no, that's
Yeah.
just like not a thing.
It's like usually like someone's like it's like their pickiness is like usually seafood adjacent, like
Mhm.
which I get. Like so there's certain things like seafood wise, I still am not like oysters. Like I've tried them. I'm at least open to trying things
Yeah.
now, and I'm just like, gooey duck's not for me. Never forget the one time that we were at like a 5-star restaurant, and
Oh my
I
gosh.
spit out the gooey duck into
I mean, fair.
the napkin. I tried it, and the 5-star service, this person was over there so fast grabbing my napkin and goes, don't worry, it happens all the time. Also, I do this with spinach.
Not that I do this with spinach. I don't remember. That was where I was there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mom and Dad were supposed to be there.
Yeah.
It was
This was for one of your birthdays.
It was for one of my birthdays. I can't remember which birthday. Maybe like 25, I think.
It was before you guys moved.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it was like 25th birthday, and Mom and Dad were going to be there, and then something came up that they missed their flight or something. It ended up just being me, Maddie, and Cooper, because this was
I was
pre-Ted.
third wheeling.
Yeah. We went to this like really nice restaurant that my parents were gonna pay for, but then they didn't come.
And did we get food after?
Yeah.
Yes, we were still hungry. This is a tangent.
Yeah, I know, it's a tangent. Adventure.
Okay, adventure is your one word.
She's
Okay,
trying new
what's
things.
2 and 3? Speed run it.
Another word to describe my 20s would be discovery, like discovering, like, in the simplest of terms, who I am. What are the
Yeah.
kind of things that I enjoy doing? What are the things that I love to eat? Who am I? What are like my core beliefs and
Mhm.
values in life? So I think like, yeah, discovery would be a good word to kind of sum up my 20s.
Yeah.
And then the third word, I'm going to go with partnership, in a sense that like there's like many layers to that, because it's like partnership through getting married, and there's also partnership in starting new ventures like streaming with Cooper, doing the Megan and Cooper stuff,
Mhm.
and partnership and starting like the Fuzzy Pod with you,
Yeah.
and no longer just having a world that's like solely focused around me and like one business that just completely revolved around
Yeah.
me and what I was
Well, and
doing.
a lot of pressure on you too. Like not just like, I feel like some people might hear that and be like, oh, that's so bad. Everything was about you. But it's like all that weight and pressure was on you.
It wasn't until recently that I realized, like, holy crap, I was like 19 years old when there were like lots of adults whose like jobs
Their
revolved
well-being. Yeah.
around me. Like, that's wild.
Yeah.
Like, you know, between like management and like business managers and attorneys
Yeah.
and like publicists and like people at the label. That is wild to think about because now, like, being able to like be older and like see other like
Reflect. Yeah.
younger like artists come up and be like, oh my gosh, that's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, and I feel like when you're in it, it's almost like all adrenaline, but also, I can be a little crunchy. I feel like even though you may have not like felt it in the moment, like your body still knows. Like, you know what I mean? Like your body's like very intuitive, your mind's
Mm.
very intuitive, even if you're not like actively thinking about things, like it does have an impact on you.
oh, I feel like I was way more anxious.
Yeah.
Like you would know firsthand because you were traveling with me like all the time. Like my anxiety levels and like the stress levels, like she was not always like in the best place.
Yeah.
But I had a great support system around me, which included you. Hey. Which made like that journey, I think,
Was
really
that great?
so fun. No, like truly, like that's what made it so fun was having like the people around.
No, we
But
had
no,
good
it's crazy.
times.
I was like, I'm sorry. I was like 17 years old and like I had all these musicians around me that I was like telling them like what to do. And they knew like 10 times more, but like you're the one still fueling the vision
Yeah, yeah.
at like a young
Well,
age.
and I feel like part of like being has nothing to do with anything, but like part of being a leader too is not necessarily knowing how to do all the things, but seeing the vision. And I feel like
Yeah.
that's like such a cool aspect
Yeah.
of what you did. And now like still bringing that skill set into like new partnerships and new ventures
Oh, yeah.
for business, I think is really cool.
That's a good way of looking at it too. Cause I feel like even when it came to like that movie that I did Summer Forever that I was like a part of from like kind of like the idea, like concept all the way to the end. A big part of that was like, let's bring in like people around me and actors around me that are like so much better than me.
Yeah.
Like, I want to like just like lift this whole thing up. Like, I want to bring in people that I can learn from.
Yeah.
And continue to grow.
Like
and just,
I'm not trying to just make myself look better. Like,
no, I'm like, I
by
want to be
bringing in people who aren't like this isn't what they do. Like I want people that know what they're doing so that I
Yes.
can like learn and grow and like the whole thing is better.
It just lifts the whole thing up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay, I'm gonna throw you another set of 3.
I love it.
What are 3 words that you want to define your 30s?
Ooh, I love this. Okay. Number 1, unbothered.
I love it. Number 2, money. No, I'm just kidding.
Actually, number 2, flourishing.
Yeah.
Like, I want to see relationships flourish. I want to see growth in these new businesses that I've been putting like my time and attention into.
Mhm.
And
Money's okay to say.
no, like yeah, and like being able
seeing
to
the fruits of your labors, right?
yeah, definitely. Because I feel like I've put a lot of like time and attention in some things, and I'm starting to like see some payout from that, which is cool.
Yeah.
Like not necessarily like fiscally, but just even in numbers and the growth and things like that. So it's cool because it's like I like I mentioned earlier, like had music do well enough for me that I got to do all these amazing things. Oh my gosh. Still wild sometimes to process. It's like, who was she? What is that lifetime? But I'm ready to do that again with some new things as well. And also still music. Like when I'm talking about this, it's like I still like music, I think will always be a part of my life in some way. And it might not always be like via Megan Nicole, but who knows? I have some ideas.
She has some ideas,
She has some ideas, okay.
We're going to make them happen. Don't worry, I'm pushing for y'all.
So unbothered, flourishing. And neighborly.
Oh.
And I mean this in a sense of like, I find myself sometimes, and I don't know if you relate to this, where I kind of like get so much like in my own little world that I'll like kind of like shut people like out around me. Not necessarily like my core group of people. I just mean like I'll choose to go to the self-checkout line instead of like the regular line because I don't want to have like an interaction with someone.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's probably not healthy.
Yeah.
Like I should be able to be fine with like human interaction.
Yeah.
And I'm sure like, through the pandemic and things like that, like it was just elevated.
Yeah.
And it's like you got really comfortable in that.
You got comfortable. It was easy to like, just not talk to people. And now just like, that's just kind of how people interact. Also, like, I feel like people are still recovering from the sense of like, how do I socialize? Because I even noticed myself like sometimes struggling with like eye contact where I never struggled with eye contact before. But like actually like But like actually looking people in the like eyes when I'm talking to them and not just being like, oh
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean? So no, I
It's
definitely
big,
get it.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's like it seems like so simple, but even just like I find myself like literally avoiding my own neighbor sometimes, you know?
Yeah.
So I just want to like be more neighborly with like also like my time and energy. And you know, not in a way that's like so like draining to myself. Like I'll
Well, I
still
feel like that's
respect
hard.
like
Yeah.
what boundaries I need for myself,
Mhm.
but at the same time, like, hey, maybe I should like push myself a little in that
Yeah.
area just to, you know, socialize a little more and be a little more neighborly in my interactions. Also, I think like living in a place without public transport's also a big deal
Mhm.
because we just like go from car to parking lot to self checkout to car. Like,
Yeah, like
you don't
if you
interact
don't
with
if
anyone.
you don't want to, you don't have to interact with
No.
anyone these days.
No.
Because even like if you like you could literally survive and not leave your house.
No, literally. And now I'm a streamer. Like, what am I doing? And a podcast.
That's what I'm saying. Like, especially like I think with the ways that are like both of our like careers and like what we do for work, like we could like there's been times where I've gone like days where I'm like, have I gone outside?
No,
Have I literally touched grass?
Literally though.
Have I smelled the outside air?
I've just been in my house and I can feel it too. My body feels it. Because
Yes.
I'm like, I start getting cagey and I'm like,
Yeah.
I need to go outside as soon as possible. I need to go on a
Literally?
walk.
Yeah.
Because you can
have
be
to
so
do something.
self-sufficient at the house. Like you can even do like
Yes.
workouts at the house. Like
Yes.
you don't have to go outside.
The only saving grace I had before I moved here was like having a dog that needs to go outside.
Yeah. Yeah. Now that you have a backyard though, you just open the door. You're like, go potty.
Go potty. Yeah, no, for real. It's gonna be fun for me.
We'll help each other.
Yeah. Well, I have to come here to podcast, so
That's true. You'll get in your car because you won't take public transport because we don't have that.
because it doesn't exist. Oh my gosh, no, those are great. I love those words. Number 5. What is the biggest or greatest lesson that you feel like you learned in your 20s?
The biggest lesson I learned in my 20s would have to be, Megan, don't be such a people pleaser, okay? I think that when it comes to like people pleasing, I feel like I was afraid to like speak up for myself at times
Yeah.
in certain situations, like especially like around my career, because
Mm.
I was afraid what like other people would like think. But it's weird. It was like this weird balance because at the same time, like I do think there were certain situations in my career where I did put my foot down and had like a clear vision of what I
Yeah.
wanted, and I stuck to that. But then there's also certain situations I put myself in where it's like, well, I don't want to like hurt their feelings, so I guess I'm fine with that. Yeah, I don't need to do that for the music video. I don't need to, this is like small stuff, but
Yeah.
like just don't try to please everyone. Also, like being a people pleaser in the sense of like kind of, I don't know, because my career was such a big part of my early 20s. I keep going back to that. Like when it came to, oh my gosh, how am I perceived? Like you can't make everyone happy.
Not everyone's gonna be like
No.
you or
No,
yeah.
and just like when I go like to like consume like a piece of media, maybe there's certain artists I'm drawn to more than others, and that's fine.
And that's okay.
And that's okay. It's not like being like a hater or anything like that. So yeah, I would say, little Megan, don't worry about people pleasing so much, and put the boundaries up that you need to for yourself, and don't worry about hurting feelings along the way. Be mindful and be kind.
Yeah, I think like being respectful is different
Yeah.
than, you setting your boundaries and
Yeah.
like it's not you being I'm sorry, being disrespectful is different than you like setting boundaries.
Yeah.
It's not you being disrespectful to someone. It's
Yeah.
more,
Because you can still be kind and get your point across,
Yeah.
you know? Or just say like, no, that doesn't work for me.
I need to learn that lesson.
I'm still working
Just
on
get
it, to be
spicy.
honest.
I just get angry. Okay, what are you most looking forward to in starting a new, fresh decade? It feels like it's in like Happy New Year,
Yeah.
but like on
Yeah.
steroids.
Yeah.
But like, what are you like looking forward to?
I think I'm most looking forward to entering my 30s, having all the experiences and knowledge that I gained in my 20s, but like a new confidence and this new, like kind of more unbothered
Yeah.
attitude to be able to like have like the combination of the two like join each other.
Yeah.
What's
It's
she
gonna be
gonna
fire.
do?
Who's she gonna be?
Who's she gonna be?
Look out, world.
She's gonna be unstoppable. No, like I think that's what I'm most looking forward to. And I can already kind of like feel that like within the last year. And that sounds so weird. And you hear that all the time. It's like you'll care less and less what people think, and like the way I feel in my body too. Like I feel like I'm feeling good.
Yeah.
Which is so funny because like, some people, yeah, you might look back and it's like, oh, you looked best, like, in your like early 20s. But yeah, I was not feeling good.
Yeah.
And like the way I feel about myself now, just like, I don't know, she's feeling confident. She's feeling good in her skin.
Yeah.
And she's excited to see what's going to happen with that combination in her 30s.
Yeah, I love that. She's going to be in her thriving era.
30, flirty, and thriving.
Okay. Number 7. Kind of piggybacking off that. Is there anything that it like scares you or that you feel apprehensive about as you're like leaving your 20s? Because I feel like a lot of the conversation is like, oh my gosh, like now I'm 30. Like there's almost like this kind of like it's all over, whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like almost like a negative connotation of like,
Well,
I'm no longer young. Like,
yeah. I mean, that's why I'm having an RIP to my youth party, mostly with a wink. I would say, yes, there's lots of those feelings. And I think they're mostly societal.
Yeah.
Based, like, starting with the basic of like, oh, everyone's so worried about what's going on with my womb. Like, like, it's like, especially in your 30s, like, clock's ticking.
The clock's
You're going to have a baby. And it's
you're like, let it tick, tick, tick. Then.
Yeah. And it's just like, and I like to think that the narrative is changing slowly, that women are more than just, their worth is more than just like bearing children.
Amen.
What a concept.
I know, it's wild. It's wild. We can contribute more to this earth.
Yeah. Because it's like, that's not the only contribution. It's a
phenomenal
amazing contribution. And like, a love to all the mamas out there.
Like, it's absolutely incredible. But moment for what like the female body can do.
Yes.
Like that is absolutely insane.
100%. But to whittle it all down to like, that's your
worth.
That's your worth.
That's
like,
what you bring to this world.
Yeah. Like, no, she's not about that. So I think the societal pressure of like, you can have kids. And I think I'm feeling that like less and less, but maybe because I'm just caring less and less what other people think.
Because I'm unbothered.
Yeah. It's like, you gonna take care of this baby? Like, let me like in my own timeline, like
decide what's
gonna be. Yeah, exactly.
And my partner and our relationship.
It's our journey, not yours. So sorry. And then I think the other thing that I'm feeling, especially as like a musician, there was kind of this narrative for a long time of like, it felt like you like expired in your 30s as a pop star.
Yeah.
But I feel like a lot of pop stars are changing that now too.
Yeah.
I mean, Taylor Swift's the biggest she's ever been. I mean, there will not be another Taylor Swift for like for in a long time. Like ever.
Yeah.
But that being said, it's like she's
breaking the mold. Like she's at the peak of her career, and she's probably gonna continue to just keep growing.
That's what's so crazy and cool about it. Like it literally like gives me chills. So I think that that narrative is also changing as well. It's like, oh no, there's no expiration date here. And then the third being, and this is kind of a weird one, the fact that people perceive me as like younger from my appearance.
Yeah.
It's like this weird balance because like she loves it. Keep it coming, Keep saying that. The other day I was at the store and this guy was checking my ID. He's like, "What?" He's like, "I thought you were like 22 at most." And I was like, "Please say more.
Stop, please stop. Yes, keep going."
But it's like this is like a me thing probably of just like, oh my gosh, like, do I need to start like talking a certain way or dressing a certain way to like fit like being like more mature? And the answer to that is no,
Yeah, that actually was gonna be one of my questions is like, how is your fashion going to be impacted by turning 30? But I was like, this is irrelevant. Fashion does not change. It's just whatever you want.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I think I was kind of like having a moment like that, like questioning it. And I was like, no, whatever. Like,
just let it go. Yeah,
exactly.
Just
I mean,
you.
Even the fact that like Cooper and I play video games, like, on stream, every once in a while, I get comments like, like grow up. Mostly when I'm playing The Sims and I'm crying over a cat that died in The Sims, but
You grow up. What's wrong with you?
I'm having fun.
That's a great transition to my next question, actually, which is, what is something that brings you pure childlike joy?
Okay, the first obvious, Disneyland. Disneyland truly is my happiest place on earth for me. I don't care
So
how
good.
overpriced it is. I don't care.
I will never care.
No.
I will never care.
I don't care. No, I love it so much. It's the rides, it's the environment, it's the nostalgia. Disney immediately brings like pure childlike joy. And I see that in other people too when they
Yeah.
go. And I think that's also part of it. Like when you're there, it's like everyone's kind of like
Everyone's feeling
having
the
that
same
feeling.
energy.
Mhm.
Like it's just
Except for Cooper.
it's so pure.
I blame
It's
that
so
he didn't
pure.
like grow up with Disney movies though.
Oh, he didn't.
Well, he doesn't watch a ton of movies.
Oh, that's
I don't
true.
know. He was
what
more of a
about, like-
Pokemon guy. They did a
Yes.
Pokemon theme park, and then he'd be like,
Yeah.
Then we get to see that from him.
Yeah. Fair.
But I would say Disneyland, and then there's some. I mean, honestly, like I didn't get to play like games like The Sims growing up. Kind of going back to that. So I find like joy like playing games like that.
She's always telling me about her Sims.
I
Like
start drama. I'm like, here's the cheese man.
she was
okay?
literally sending me pictures of them the other day. Like she's like, and this is like this Sim, and then I have this guy.
I told them to divorce each other because you can do that. I stole her husband. I stole the money was the real plan. I gave him a makeover, and then I'm gonna divorce. I already have plans. I'm like, then I'll divorce him.
She's making plans. She's making plans.
Here's the thing. I truly do enjoy a drama-free life. So it's fun to make my own drama.
You
in
have
The
to
Sims.
have like
an outlet.
an outlet for drama. Like I truly believe that. Like I don't want immediate drama.
No.
But
No.
I
No.
live for secondhand tea.
Yeah.
I live for the secondhand drama.
Play The Sims,
Because
Maddie.
I can just like I can hear it, I can talk about it, and then I can let it go.
Yeah.
'Cause it
Reality
has
TV.
It has
That's
zero
what it's
effect on
for.
me. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what it's for. That's what it's for. And I do need to get into The Sims. I think I've played The Sims like once.
Literally, some of the Sims drama is greater than reality TV's biggest moments.
I need to.
I'm
get
telling
into
you.
this. I need to get into this. No, but I wanted to ask that question because I feel like a lot of like, you're going into your 30s, like you better get your stuff together. But like, we should still always like, no matter how old we are, like experience like those moments of childlike joy.
I hope I continue that for the rest of my life.
I hope that you're playing Sims for the rest of your life,
Me
Megan.
too.
And that we're going to Disney.
Yes.
You can be with Ted and I as we are like old and sitting on a bench and people watching and judging.
I'll be the third wheel there.
Yeah.
Because Cooper won't.
And then Cooper will come pick us up.
yeah, Cooper will drop us off and then pick us up. Perfect.
I just imagine they were all like on scooters and like we all have like the vest
Why do
with
we
like
have
the
bucket
pins.
hats on though? I see
bucket hats
Yeah.
too. And then we have like our Mickeys like in the front basket.
Yes. I finally, for some reason at retirement age, I'll finally buy a popcorn bucket.
Oh, yes. Yeah, of course. We all have popcorn buckets.
I wear it around my neck.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I love it. Okay. Number 9. What is the most impactful piece of media or work of art that you consumed in your 20s?
Oh
This could
my
be like
gosh,
a
yeah.
book, movie, show, music. And how did that affect you?
Okay, this one.
That's probably the deepest question.
This was the deepest question I saw in there. Like I literally sat with it for so long, and I was like, Twilight. Oh shoot, no, I was a teenager. Okay, I'm looking something up because I want to make sure I have
Your dates right? I'm going to make sure you weren't 10.
make sure I wasn't when I was 10. Okay, I'll start with books. This one I read more
You're going to do
recently.
multiple.
I might do a couple.
Okay,
I'll be fast.
I love it.
So a book I read a couple years ago that was really popular was Atomic Habits by James
Oh,
Clear.
yeah.
And that was like one of the first self-help books I read where I was like, oh, okay. Like this is like, you can break this down into like small, like bite-sized pieces if you want to. And like there's actionable like items here to like actually make a change in your life.
Yeah.
Like things that aren't like so big picture that you're like, whoa.
Where do
well,
I
like-
even start?
Yeah. So the whole thing is about like, creating new healthy habits. And so I'll just give like a quick example. It's like if you want to be like a person who like eats healthier, fuels their body better, start, every day asking like, what would a healthy person do in this situation? And
Eat the donut or throw the donut away.
or like be drinking like this amount of water? Probably.
Ooh, I have not had water today.
So we gotta start asking each morning, right? Like,
I did have like 3 cups of
hydrated
coffee.
person do? Drink water. And drink this
Mhm.
amount of
You're
water
right, you're
and carry
right.
their jug with them everywhere. The next book that had a big impact in my life was Joyful by Ingrid Fettel Lee. which I'm still listening to. I'm listening to an audiobook.
You got a few days left.
I got a few days left to make it happen. So I officially have finished it in my 20s. The book kind of focuses on like the power of like really like your environment and your aesthetic around you and like how colors and shape play into your life.
Oh, I
And
love
I
that.
think as someone who like loves play, loves color, it was like a good reminder to continue to incorporate those things in your life that like spark joy, especially like with the last few years, like the trend being very like, beige kind of like, which is very calming and I think has a
Mhm.
purpose. But I was like, wait, but I'm someone who really loves like color in my life. And in some ways, it's always felt like, well, if you enjoy that, it's like seen as like childish.
Childish, yeah.
But I think like, there's kind of a shift happening also like in the
Oh, yeah.
design world.
I
And you
love it.
see like maximalism coming like up, like all this
Mhm.
wallpaper. Wow, we can get into all that. But it's just the book basically in short is a good reminder like, no, those things are important and like really good for your like mental well-being.
Yeah, I love that.
So I think those were two books that like made a big impact in my 20s. And then a podcast that made an impact on my like my faith journey and like what that looked like for me was actually a friend of mine. Eric McClanahan has a podcast called The Whole Elephant that I was actually featured on early on in season 1. Thanks, Eric. It's based off a poem of like 6 blind men like touching an elephant and then describing different things. And
Mhm.
basically, so it's him having conversations with people and just coming from like all different walks of life
Yeah.
and like what spirituality is to them. It's like a question you always ask at the end, like what that looks like. Do you have any like? And it's just like a good reminder that like I think for me that and with my beliefs that like oh my gosh like there is like one big like creator out there
Mhm.
and it looks different for like a lot of different people but there was like a lot of like crossover and at
Mhm.
the end of the day it's like for me I believe like oh my gosh we were all like made by like the same God and like
Mhm.
it just like flows through all of us which that's like a whole thing to like get into but it
Yeah.
was just like a good it's been like it's had me like asking like good questions and also like kind of like solidifying like the things that I believe and also broadening it
Yeah.
in a lot of
Yeah.
ways
Yeah.
so
No, I think that's great. I think we should always be challenging ourselves. I think it's easy to be like, "Oh, yeah, that's, like, what I believe," but not actually, like,
no
digging into
yes
it.
and in so many areas of our life just like
Mhm.
it's good to it's healthy to continue to ask questions and
It's
I
like,
think that's
"Okay,
another
well,
thing that
why do
opened
I
up
believe that?"
yeah
And, like
Yeah, and continuing to grow, like, always. I wanna
Yeah.
always be growing.
Yeah.
I don't wanna just, like, hit a certain age and be like, "Well, I'm done,"
I
like,
did it.
"I did it." Like, I think that yeah, it just kinda opens up, like, I wanna be asking questions, like, always in my life.
I love that. I'll have to check that out.
But, like, also he has conversations with a ton of people, like, in the musical theater world, so if you're, like, a musical theater nerd, like, he's had some big gets, so you
That's
gotta check that out.
awesome. Wow, I loved that. Thank you for sharing. I
Yeah.
also like that one of them was was a podcast
Yeah.
because I wasn't thinking of podcasts when I first
I kn well,
wrote that question down.
music obviously would have been a big one. It was kinda hard to, like, narrow it down. Casey Musgrave's Golden Hour is, like, still, like, an album I can listen to top to bottom, and I think I just, like, had, like, an appreciation for, like, songwriting as a whole
Yeah.
with that, like, it's just every song was so well
Yeah.
written.
Well, I feel like music, it would be hard to pinpoint too because you've had probably so many different ways that it's inspired you, and it's, like, kinda hard to pinpoint just, like,
Yeah, like,
one.
one body of work.
Yeah.
I was like, "How do I do
So, I
this?"
like that you chose, like, books and a podcast. I think that's really cool. Okay, number 10. What does your perfect day look like?
My perfect day, Maddie. Okay, it starts off with me, most likely sleeping in, and then
What is
I'm
sleeping into you? I had this conversation with Ted earlier.
Not setting an alarm, letting my body naturally wake up.
Mhm.
And if the dogs weren't involved, probably I'd wake up around 9
Yeah.
because my dogs usually wake me up earlier.
It's
So
time to get up.
yeah, literally, they're like, "Meow, meow, meow," and I'm like, okay, I'm up. So I would start the day off sleeping in maybe around 9. Then I would go to a local coffee shop,
Love it.
get a delicious overpriced drink,
Worth
and
it every time.
worth it every single time.
Did we both get 2 drinks at a coffee shop today?
Yes, we did. And then I would do something nature related,
Okay.
like go on a hike,
Love it.
but not like something like, I'm not talking like a 6-mile adventure.
No.
Talking
could
like
not.
a 45-minute
Yeah.
hour loop of some sort.
Not trying to get too sweaty.
Not too sweaty because we're gonna after that get ready for the day, and then go have sushi for lunch.
Oh, good call. Good call.
In a perfect world, sugarfish is everywhere.
Mm.
I'm having sugarfish for lunch. This is my perfect
I
day.
miss it.
Then somehow I magically transport to Disneyland.
Teleportation is a thing.
In my
Or
perfect
you're
world.
just living back in California.
Yeah.
What is it?
Disneyland builds a location here in Tennessee. So I go to Disneyland. Oh my gosh, if they did that, side note, I would be so old by the time I was done. Anyways, I go to Disneyland and I spend just like the evening there, early evening. I have a
Best time.
cocktail at Disneyland maybe, and I ride a couple rides.
Oh,
and then I have a delicious dinner and a night swim.
Where's the dinner?
The dinner is going to be sushi round 2? No.
Nobu,
A nice
anyone?
Italian spot
Mm-hmm.
where we have some nice, like, Italian reds,
some wine.
some wine
Some
and pasta,
vino.
and some bread.
Vino's
She's been
wine,
in her
right?
tomato era, okay? Eating like tomatoes with like mozzarella.
Dude, I love. I was about to say I love potatoes now.
I love potatoes. I love potatoes.
now. No, I love tomatoes now. Like the little ones.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is new for me too.
Yeah.
Within this year, we went to like Italy with Cooper's family, and like some of the meals we had that, and I was like, wait,
It's
when a
good.
tomato was
the
like
little
fresh
cherry
and good?
tomatoes. Yeah.
So good.
They're so good. Yeah.
So
Okay, I
to
love an
me,
Italian moment.
Italian for dinner, and then I see myself like having like a night swim. Like
I love that.
under the moon and the stars, and the temperature of the water is just perfect.
chef's kiss.
Yeah. It's not too chilly, but it's not like a hot tub vibe. It's just like crisp and relaxing getting into the water.
Mm-hmm.
And that's my perfect day.
I love
Is
it.
that too much to ask?
It seems simple enough.
We can make it happen. Maybe some antique thrifting in there too,
Yeah.
where no one's like hovering over my shoulder saying
You're
it's
like,
time to go.
It's time to go. Yeah.
Looking at you, Cooper. Although sometimes I do need that.
Let's
tip.
just say Megan and I went to Costco, just the two of us, and
we
realized
lost track of time.
I
we
would
lost
never
track of money.
I would never say this to my husband's face. We did need another person present, probably, to say, "Are you sure we need that?
Are you sure you need that extra snack? Because
Are you
by the
sure
time you get this snack and this snack and this snack,
it's $600?"
you're looking at a lot of money you spent at Costco.
But the muffins were buy one get one free,
and the hot dog, $1.50
$1.50
with the soda.
With the soda. Come on now.
That was the best deal of the day. Let me tell you. Everything else. Oof.
That sounds like my perfect day too. I'm gonna copy paste that. We're getting down to the final 3. Okay, this one's kind of jumping back into a more like not serious, but we're getting back into the more serious, if you will. So we kind of touched on it a little bit earlier, but like for me, for like an outside like perspective, like in your early 20s, your career was a huge part of your life. And you were so focused on your career and making that work. And I think it was really awesome how hard you were working. But now I think we talked about it, like you slowed down a little bit after you guys, you and Cooper got married, and you kind of were like, okay, I need to like have more balance, and you kind of figured out more of that balance. But what does that look like as you go into your 30s? As you're like thinking about like career goals and like work-life balance, like what does that look like for you from like what you've learned in your 20s?
That's a great question. So there's like 2 sides to making your own schedule. And I feel like when I was focused on music, making my own schedule looked like putting as much time and energy into what I wanted to make happen. Which I don't think there was anything wrong with that, because like I didn't really have any other responsibilities outside of that, meaning like I didn't have my dogs that I do now, or like my spouse, my plants. Like I didn't have any other like things that were like taking away energy from that. And in a good way, when I say taking away energy, like I want to put energy into those things.
It's something you want to put energy into. Yeah. It's not like,
yes,
you're taking away.
like, oh my gosh, Cooper is taking away all my energy. And those dogs.
And these dogs. And these plants.
The plants I did to myself. I did all of it to myself. But no, I think because like, I mean, I was just in my early 20s. Like that's all I wanted to put my energy into, and I could. And I loved that. But then there was another side of that, like where I think that this paints probably like a good picture of how much I was working at that time. There was a time I was coming in for a writing session. They're like, Megan, what do you want to write about? And I was like, well, what have I done lately? Okay, well, just finished that tour. Okay. And then I've been, I was in the studio last week and then yesterday. I'm not having life experiences.
Yeah.
I'm not out there like having like fun with my friends and like, falling in love. Like I'm like, what do I have to write about? Let's write about my friend's relationship let me like give all like the cheese man, like here's all the gossip like about what's going on in my friend's life. Let's write about this instead because I don't have anything really going on in my life that I can be like, I don't know. I was in the stew yesterday. I'm in the stew again today. And every day I'm writing a new song. It's me playing guitar, by the way. like what was I going to say?
She is a guitar player.
Like, I was like, what do I have to say? Because also, like, these experiences, like, not only, like, continue to, like, build who I am as I was, like, going through, I use the word, like, discovery. These experiences would also, like, help me figure out, like, what I wanted to say, like what my voice was like through these experiences, and I just wasn't having them. So I think that was kind of like a big wake up call that my life needs balance. And balance was brought to me in a funny way through a music video. I was recording a music video for my song Safe With Me. And some of you may have heard this story before, but the actor on set, his name was Austin, was a roommate of my now husband, Cooper. And Austin was like, hey, you should come hang out like at this game night we have, blah, blah, blah. Also, side note, he had intentions of like me meeting Cooper because he just felt like we would vibe. He was definitely right about that. But like didn't tell me that, just kind of invited me to like this game night. And I literally like had a moment where I was like, yeah, I'll let you know. And I was like, wait, I should go.
Yeah.
I should socialize. I should be around people like that are like around my age. Like I need to do this. So I was like, yeah, you know what? I will.
I'll be there.
I'll be at your little game night.
Cutie little game night.
And so I went. And then, that's where I ended up meeting Cooper, who we became friends. And then obviously now it's like we're married. So it was just like, oh my gosh, like kind of saying yes to these opportunities, like started me on this journey of like saying yes to taking care of myself and beginning to find a work-life balance. So when I first got married, we kind of talked about this like off the pod, I think, that I had released an album, I think, around the time I got married. I was really proud of the songs and the response wasn't what I wanted it to be. That was My Kind of Party EP. And I just felt like
that EP's fire. Go listen to it.
I'm sorry. Can I say this? People slept on that EP.
They're sleeping on it currently. They should go back.
Some of those songs I was listening to recently because someone was asking about like that we met on one of our drivers on the Italy trip was like, I don't know how we got in the conversation. They wanted to hear some of the music and I was like playing some of that. And I was like, this sounds like it could still be current day pop.
Yeah.
And it's like 6 years old.
Put it on TikTok.
I'm telling you, like Clueless sped up.
Yeah.
We just do Nightcore versions and everything. Because they're still solid songs.
Yeah.
Anyway. TBD. Maybe I do like a 6-year anniversary or it's like a random year. But
no. Who cares? I'm turning 30.
Nightcore. I gotta get a little anime girly made of me to put in the background of all the YouTube videos.
No, I love it. We're making this happen.
But like I released that. It didn't really do what I was hoping, and I put like a lot of time and energy into this project, and I was like really excited about it and a lot of money. And I was like, oh, okay, well. I don't know. I just got married. I'm going to start putting like energy into this in my relationship and new experiences. So I feel like Cooper and I like traveled a lot.
Yeah. Like
we were like, especially our first year of marriage, we were traveling, we were getting settled, we were discovering like who we were as a couple. And I don't know, I kind of stepped back.
Yeah.
And I really needed it.
It's very natural, I feel like. Like I don't think it was, at least from what I know, it wasn't like an active decision of like, all right, I'm taking a step back.
Because I didn't like, make like a, hey guys, it's Megan. This is my last video. I'm not going to be posting like ever again. No, I literally was just kind of like, it's kind of like a natural progression. Like it's like my body needed it. My mind needed it. I needed to slow down. I've been working since I was 15. Like I just needed that. And then 2019, 2 years after being married, I started working on music again and I was feeling really excited. And it was like towards the end of 2019. You know where this is going, right?
I bet you can guess.
Starting some songs in LA. We're about to move to Nashville. I'm like, great, I'm gonna meet new people, start writing. So we got settled in Nashville, and then 2020 happened, And the next thing I knew, it's been like 3 years since then. But really, it was like, I feel like 2020 to 2022, it was like, figuring things out. We had a lot of like loss in the family. And so then that was like really hard, and kind of like walking through that together. And so it felt like this was the first year, like honestly, more recently, I started like kind of writing again and putting more energy into music. Like both Cooper and I, because Cooper is also a musician. He's a producer. So it's kind of like more his focus. And we've just been putting energy into that. And it's exciting to be able to be working on music again. But I think we're finding a good flow to kind of now bring it all around to the question of, I went from being like busy workaholic to I'm going to pull back almost completely to kind of
doing other things.
Like, and doing other things. Yeah. Like I think I started like adulthood at the time, which was like a
you were
web
doing
series
different
I did,
projects.
which was cute, by the way.
Yeah.
She was cute.
People were sleeping on that.
She was cute.
Yeah.
And I was just trying out what other things do I like? And then I got an agent for acting, and I was like, maybe I'll try this out. More recently, I started getting into voiceover work, which I love so much more than just like theatrical stuff. Like, I think too, because I put such like an emphasis on like my appearance and what people thought of me, and that's like a big chunk of acting.
Yes,
like you're putting yourself on camera, and it's like, okay, what's her look like?
Yeah.
And I realized the other day I was cleaning out my like folders. My drab, and I had like some like old auditions on there, and I was like, why was she so hard on herself? Like I remember turning this in and being like, ugh, I hate the way I look. And I'm like, you look fine. Like you're cute. Get over yourself.
Cute.
Get over yourself. Shut the hell up. Like, why were you so hard on yourself? But anyways, I think that lately I've been kind of finding a good flow and routine, and honestly still figuring that out a little bit. Because when you make your own schedule, like I said earlier, you can make it whatever you want it to be. So there are certain days it's like, you know what? I need this day to rest. It's okay. But I can, maybe I need a slower morning, but I can stay up till 9 working. Like I could start my day at 2 if I wanted to, stream first and then work on stuff after. And I feel very, very, very thankful to have the opportunity to do that and to be able to like make it whatever I want it to be and need it to be. But at the same time, it's like, it's always a learning curve, especially like adding Fuzzy Pod into the mix, which has been one of my favorite things ever. But it's like, I think only recently, like we're on episode 17, that I've been finding like, oh, how does this fit into my like weekly life? Like with editing and posts. And I think we're still figuring that out.
We're still figuring it out. Yeah.
We're getting there.
Thank you for that. I feel like that was like,
I'm like long-winded sometimes. I was like realizing
I think it's awesome.
About.
Like I think ultimately it's like we're always probably going to be figuring out what that balance looks like depending on like each season that we're in. But like I think it's really cool to see like, I don't know, almost like two sides of it of like, oh, I had this like one very specific what I was doing as my career and that was my whole life.
Yeah.
And then to like switch and like be like, okay, now I'm gonna try new projects and like figure things out. Like that's like huge. Like I think a lot of people just kind of stick with one thing and then like don't really like explore other things. But I think it's really cool that you've done that,
Thank you. And she's done a lot of things, and a lot of things have failed. But you just keep going, you keep trying new things.
Yeah. The Fuzzy Pod won't fail.
But don't let the Fuzzy Pod fail, okay? Leave us a 5-star review.
Please. Please. Number 12. We got 2 more. Okay. If you could choose one meal and one drink of choice that would be your staple, what would it be?
Now, when you say staple, I have to have it every day, or is it like this is my signature?
So I didn't want to do the whole like every day.
You have to eat it. Yeah, okay, yeah.
Like I just like what's gonna be like your signature, and it doesn't have to be for the rest of your 30s, but like your signature meal for your 30s.
Okay, you ready?
Because you said you're into tomatoes now, so like that's a new development.
She's a tomato girly. Get my canvas tote. I've been using my canvas totes at the grocery store. Okay, so I would have to say this is very specific because they only have a limited amount of locations, but sugarfish.
Yeah.
The trust me. If you know, you know.
If you know, you know. If you don't, you better find out.
Trust me.
You better find out.
Do you want it? Is that Ariana song?
What was that? I don't know.
I saw someone. I ended up on a very specific side of TikTok.
that sounds like it has something to do with the scandals.
No, no, it was like about sugarfish, and it was like using that song to because there's this meal that you get. It's called the Trust Me, and it's like you trust them to like
you just
bring
trust
out
them. They're gonna bring you what's best.
It's gonna be delicious, and it's so good.
And I do trust them.
So I would say the Trust Me from Sugarfish is gonna be my signature meal, and my staple drink is going to be a whiskey sour, more specifically a Boston sour. I believe
that egg white, yeah,
just egg white for me. Yeah, it doesn't sound as cool as like Negroni, Spagliato with Prosecco on it.
I'm surprised you didn't say like key lime LaCroix because you
sour.
drink like 6 of those a day if you have them.
I don't keep them in the house for that reason because I will.
You better pray we never get like in some future world a partnership with LaCroix where they're sending you LaCroix because
okay, so Alani Nutrition,
confiscate those.
Alani sends me like all of these energy drinks all the time, like every single month, and I don't even think like there was a moment where I was like, I like Alani. You just
got on their list.
Yeah, I got on their PR list. They started sending me stuff. I have so much, I keep giving it out to people because it's too much for me to consume because it's delicious. But I can't have that much caffeine in my body.
Facts.
She gets the shakes.
Facts. How was the Halloween one?
I haven't tasted it yet.
I'm curious. I haven't tasted it. Maybe I'll steal one because I need to stay up late and clean tonight. So.
But
no, that's a great.
If LaCroix sponsored us, it would be dangerous. I'd be just crushing those. You know that I've been in the area. If you see like 6 empty LaCroix cans, okay, just know that.
It's true.
Key lime.
We can't keep it. We can't keep it around her.
That's all I drink. It will be exclusively
whenever
you would
water. Yeah. Whenever you'd come visit.
Although I had someone one time was like, it's like really bad for your enamel, and I was like,
teeth,
and I was like, stop taking my joy.
Also, I really need an answer to what it means when a water is essenced.
So,
do you have that information?
If I had to guess, okay. So,
because I just imagine like a key lime farting onto the water.
Okay, that's better than what I thought. That's it. That's how it's done.
What were you gonna say?
No, that's it. We're just sticking with that.
Now I need to know what you were thinking.
No, I was just gonna joke that they put like this because like you'll see like these waters and it's like naturally essence with and no calories. You're like, how does this work? I think they just like take like lime, and then they like or the oils from it or something, and then they just put them like in the air with a fan, or there's someone like just wafting it gently, and there's like spa music playing.
I thought you were gonna say they put it on their hands and then dip their hands in the water. Wait, they're just like rubbing the
lime juice on their hands and they touch the water. Or they just like it's like
they stomp on like the
like Reiki like with energy like they don't touch it.
Like
they just
the
feel
sound,
it.
the sound. What do they call those?
Sound bath.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of want to do one too.
Yeah.
Go on next week.
Okay, I love that meal though. That's great. Okay, last question, and I feel like you kind of touched maybe on this a little bit on one of our previous questions. But we talked about how the first event for your birthday weekend is the RIP to your youth, RIP to your 20s. So what is something that you are going to let die with your 20s?
Ooh!
You're shedding it. You're like, I will no longer.
Okay, I'm going to let, this is like wistful thinking, but any kind of like negative talk about myself die in my 20s.
I love it.
And obviously, occasionally, I'm going to have that come up. But in the small ways, right?
Yeah.
In the sneaky ways of like, drop something. Ugh, I'm stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, that's sneaky.
It is, yeah.
Like, the way, like, we talk to ourselves in that way. It's like, oh, I'm dumb. Oh. Or, like, also, like, this probably comes from people pleasing, too. The way I say, like, sorry, like, way too much, like, there's another side of that, too, where it's like, okay, like, because the intention behind it is wanting to be kind.
Yes.
The heart of it, it's, like, not inherently wrong, but it's, like, sometimes, like, there's just, like, used unnecessarily sometimes. And it's like, oh, why did I say it? Sorry. Like, there was nothing, it was
to be sorry
accident.
about.
Yeah. It's, like, it's okay.
It's no one's at fault.
Yeah. It's fine. Like, oh, sorry.
No,
sorry.
Me, anytime I go outside the house.
No, literally, like, looking down.
I'm sorry.
Like, what is that?
No. Like, I did nothing to you.
No, we're leaving that behind. And we're leaving the sneaky, like, negative self-talk behind in my 20s.
I love that, yeah. Yay.
That's gonna take a second. So
Yeah, it's all, but I think it's like recognizing it, and that's part of like the whole like discovery of being like, oh, yeah, I see ways that I'm like subtly doing it. So
Yeah.
like let's like pay attention to those. Like
yeah,
just recognizing it. Cause I think it's easy to like recognize when you're like, ugh, I look ugly. Like
Yeah.
like when you're getting dressed or trying on like an outfit and you're like, ugh, like I have nothing to wear. Like it's like I just look ugly and everything. Like that's easier to recognize.
instead of being like,
versus-
these clothes don't serve me.
it's the clothes' fault.
They don't
and
serve
not
me.
me.
So goodbye. Thank you and goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
But I love that. I think that's great. And I'm excited for your new decade. Oh my goodness. Oh, sorry. I'm excited for
Dusty. Crusty.
for the Krusty.
Let's make crusty trendy.
Let's
though.
make Krusty the new
musty.
Musty.
I don't know.
Well, thank you so much for answering all those questions. Honestly, that was like so much fun for me. And I feel like I had a great time getting to like write those questions and like thinking about, obviously I've been around for not your entire life, but my entire
Yeah.
life. So like I feel like I know you pretty well, but I think that like actually getting to think about questions and like where I'm like, oh, I don't know the answer to this, like, or what was her perspective? Because I have my perspective. So I feel like it was like so cool just getting to hear like your thoughts on everything and entering this new season and decade. Like
blah. But no. Those are really good
we're excited for it.
We are.
Not
we are.
blah.
All right, I gotta stop with the negative self-talk. Okay.
We talked about this. It starts
Leaving
now.
that behind. No, like those were like really great questions. So they got me thinking because I have been wanting to have a moment where I sit and kind of be reflective for a second. So thank you for taking the time to ask such good questions.
You're welcome.
You're skilled at your job.
You know. Well, with that, we hope you guys enjoyed this as much as we did. And if you did, leave us a comment, rate, review the podcast. And if you're feeling extra generous,
If you're feeling extra generous.
if you're feeling extra generous as a birthday gift to Megan, you can repost our pod on your socials. Share with your friends. We really
5-star
appreciate
rating
it.
for my birthday, please.
Yeah, 5-star ratings for her birthday, please. If you don't, you're a bully. I'm just kidding. But with that, thank you guys. And we look forward to talking to you again next week.
Bye.